I want to move on to something not entirely unrelated. The story of how Russian operatives were behind the arson attacks on Keir Starmer's house and property is a timely reminder of a wider war being fought in the shadows. Sergei Cristo is a Russian-born UK citizen who helped expose an alleged Russian spy ring operating in Westminster in 2012, and he's with me now. Sergei, thank you very much indeed for coming in.
Thank you, Andrew, for having me.
Were you surprised by any aspects of what's been uncovered in the court case?
Not really. I was surprised by the young age of the people involved. And I think the message is that even our teenagers can find, two houses belonging to the British Prime Minister and a car, although he owned it only until 2024, and do a bit of arson.
And I said that this was part of a wider sort of war or conflict going on in the shadows. And I think you have been pursuing former Russian diplomats as part of the your investigation into who's really behind it.
Well, interesting point is that Sergei Nikolaevich Nalobin, who was the senior diplomat, or we think he was an intelligence officer at the Russian embassy at the time when Cameron was prime minister, he actually is linked to the young diplomat who was the handler of these people. Yevgeny Lukshin, 23-year-old young diplomat, although, of course, his career in diplomacy probably is finished now. He was trained by two people first of whom came from the batch of the 11 illegals expelled from the US. If you remember, there was this expulsion under President Obama, which inspired the very popular serial called The Americans.
The Americans,
exactly.
Yes.
And the second person who trained this guy was Sergei Nalobin.
So there's also been fairly large numbers of expulsions of alleged spies from the UK back to Russia. It seems like the Russians have responded by creating, as it were, a sort of subsidiary network of, young people or hoods or thugs or whoever, who they get to do the dirty work for them.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, it has become extremely unprofessional. And what they basically do is that they literally, in many cases, don't have handlers at all. They just post these advertisements on dark web saying, if you blow this particular target, we'll pay you 12,000 euros or something. And that operates, throughout Europe.
And in terms of the motivation of these attacks, presumably it was directly to try to intimidate Keir Starmer and his family.
Well, yes, but also I think it's a sabotage techniques, and in the military operational tactics, the military strategy, it's a classic method to draw the resources of your enemy away from where the real target is coming from. Is going to happen. And I think they know that our resources, national security resources, are not limited, that they constantly reprioritize them. And they also remember that President Putin had been extremely successful in the aftermath of the September the 11th attack in New York, pressing encouraging the government, including our government, to reallocate resources from counter-espionage to anti-terrorism.
Just keep everybody off balance and looking in the wrong direction, Sergei. Thank you very much indeed for coming in and explaining that to me.